Cup champions. Celtic way, wait for the ball from side to side, and until they try to hide, the wait for the ball from front to back, attack, attack, attack at the 67, and then he's a Lisbon, the buzzing in the thousands, you see the Golden Cup.
Oh, just before I start, is the sound alright there? Everybody else hearing that alright? Cameron saying he can't hear us. Bobby, Grotbag saying it's alright. Well, we'll just go on with it then. Maybe just, have you turned the volume up, flip-flop? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Celtic Rumours TV, episode number 212 of the Bawz and Bovril podcast with myself, Mark. The night we've got with the Bishop.
How you doing?
There he's there. Man himself. How you doing, John?
Not bad at all, Mark. How's yourself?
No bad. At least Celtic won. We've got a wee bit of positivity about it tonight, hopefully, anyway.
Okay, absolutely. Job done,
yeah. The big jolly green Jerry, he'll be coming in shortly as well. He's just, why is these things not moving? He's flicking about. There it's there. Big jolly green Jerry. He'll be joining us in about 10 minutes or so. He's just running a wee bit late.
Jerry's back in.
This is a podcast for our forum. You can find that at www.celticrumours.co.uk. The link to everything like that's in the description box below. I don't even think I've got my wee shout out things set up. I thought that was in the notes thing there. Some shout outs, terms, just before I go on, two special shout outs tonight. First off, as we said, JFP, the wee granddaughter, but him and his lovely Mrs. JFP, they died. Was it their 38 year, was it, John? 38th wedding anniversary on Friday there.
Yeah.
So happy anniversary to them. And also, it's wee Ter's birthday tomorrow. I don't know, I think that's him. He starts a bit. I think he started the big school this day holidays here. So that'll be him about 17, maybe 17 or something. So happy birthday to Ter anyway for early there, the wee man. I think tomorrow that's his birthday. Who else have we got? That was in Paul. Paul was away on tour, Jerry. John out at Real Madrid. His work took him away to Madrid for a weekend, all expenses paid and all that. And they had a big fancy tour of the new Bernabeu set up and all that. He sent us some pictures and videos of what a stadium that looks like.
Good stuff. All right for some, mate.
Aye. Mad Dog McGinn, Old Tim Alloy, Mikey, be John United Ireland, Big Jabber, Welshie, Deef Kev, Old Malik and his family, TB for the Discord. I hope you're all doing well, lads. Who have we got in? Obviously, Bobby was in. Evening, Bobby. Henky, we know that's you, new Lubo Larson. Alec, nice to see you again, mate. Thanks very much for joining us. Grotbags. G-Doc, nice to see you as well, buddy. Evan, not seen you for a while, mate. Not seen you. Nice to see you again. Hope you're keeping well and that, mate. Cam, nice to see you as well. Well, we'll get back to... Well, as we said, we'll start with the positivity, John. I win. Any win, as I say, John, at places like that, I've said it to you umpteen times. See, going to Kilmarnock, and I said this as well, and I'll probably repeat it. See, as an isolated game, that was a typical Celtic visit to Kilmarnock. Because of what's been going on behind the scenes in the Champions League and the shitty derby performance, there was a lot riding on it. But that was no different to any other Celtic team going up to visit Kilmarnock. It was a hard-fought game. We knew what it was going to be like, and that pitch again was absolutely atrocious.
Aye, it's the pitch is. I don't know if it actually looks worse on the TV than it looks on in reality, but it looked absolutely horrendous. But listen, absolutely. 3 points up the road. Hard place to go. Big physical team. It's like the old Livingston stuff. St Mirren, Kilmarnock. I watched Hearts against them as well. You know, big physical teams, well organised. I would love to see a lot of teams in the Premiership, English Premiership, coming up here and seeing how they go on at fucking Tynecastle and you know, some of these.
Can you imagine all these 200 grand a week football players, John, coming up and playing against Kilmarnock on that pitch?
Absolutely.
You are nice to see you, mate. You are.
Great result. Absolutely great result. That's probably where we should start. Is start with the positivity, start with the football. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. We've had enough negativity the last wee while.
But what did you think of the new guys who started?
Ranting, the winger.
Well, just any of the. Well, I know. I mean, but like our first starts, like Balak Wisha General.
I thought.
Sriracha, or whatever it is.
I thought Tareki, the winger. I thought he was excellent. I really did. I thought, Derry, I texted you the day. I says, when you sent that wee clip through, would you believe it? We bought ourselves a winger that can go to the byline. He certainly doesn't, and he can mix it as well. I think he'll be if that's a sign of which they come, that boy could be an absolute sensation. He is. I think Rodgers said it as well. He's a Celtic winger, isn't he? And we all know what he means by that. He's a Celtic winger. The sad thing is, and it is what it is in year for year, but it's. I think Rodgers could have said it as well, that if you could have been, apparently you paid over the odds for him, that boy could have been here. If he's here before you go to your qualifier, arguably, we're having a different conversation. He could have been in the door a while ago. I thought he was excellent. What about yourself? What did you?
It was the same with Taneki. I thought he really had a crack, especially in the second half. But I think I see a lot of the criticism for. I've put this on like some of the chats earlier. I see like a lot of the criticism for Big Balak Wisha. It's how, and I noticed it, John, again yesterday. How much is it constantly down the left-hand side we play?
I mean, I don't. I mean, listen, the guy's had 2 games. I thought the criticism was a wee bit over the top. He plays. He starts and he plays his first game for us at the Cauldron. It's the Bronx, and then yesterday's playing in that surface as well. I'm holding fire the new way.
Well, I'm not slagging him off because I even felt John as well yesterday. But we were constantly going down the left, but see when we were going down the right, the young lad Donovan, who I thought had a solid game, I'm not putting him down, but
game.
He didn't know what to do to help Balak Wish out. I thought, do you get what I mean? He didn't have that kind of understanding, so he was himself, and again it's the cutting in all the time instead of taking on the man. Again, the guy pelters for not taking on the man. That Tuneki never really took on many men. Cutting in either.
I thought the two of them was a couple of times the two of them showed. I thought some of the criticism that Balak Wish has been getting is just a wee bit over the top. I mean, he did get to the byline. The two of them could show you could get to the byline. He's early days for that. I mean, you look how Kuhn started. Look how Kuhn was at his best against Bayern Munich. So I'm not getting the boy Taneki. He looks as if he's got a bit of an attitude as well. He could mix it, but a howler of that tackle. But I don't think it was a book right enough to get booked for. But he's only going one way. I tell you one thing, he's no passing back when he gets the ball.
No,
he's only going one way.
Well, hopefully anyway, unless he gets Brendan. You there, Jerry?
Sure up, mate. How we doing?
Aye, good, mate. How about you?
Good, I'm good, thank you. What's happening?
Not just talking about yesterday's game. What did you think of it?
Well, we said in the chat, Dodge City, job done up the road. It was the first half an hour you were kind of... I mean, Rodgers, when he was talking, he was saying he was wanting to kind of get them back to being aggressive and passing with purpose and we bit more intensity. We done that yesterday. We were passed a bit quicker and a bit sharper. McGregor wasn't dropping back in, and I think we done well. We got the job done in the end. Shitty goal to lose, but I didn't see them scoring until that boy Billy took the header by us. But I didn't think. I thought it was going to be a long day for us. But the job's done. 3 points back up the road, and after everything's been on, I'm happy.
I mean, that's two difficult away games. Fair dues, Ibrox, but I mean, 9 times out of 10 you take a draw at the piggery. Do you know what I mean? So we've been to Ibrox and we've been to Kilmarnock, and we're starting well clear. Well, Hearts are nipping our heels, but you know what I mean. We're well clear of that lot anyway. It's been league-wise, for considering the way we've been playing, it has been a good start to the league for us points-wise.
And you said it to Mark, Jerry, that tonight he just looks like a Celtic. I think Rodgers said it himself. He just looks like a Celtic winger, eh?
He looks a steal.
Absolutely.
Well, it's early days. I mean, I was
Jerry,
first in the chat.
If he's in,
Patodri too. That's a good point there.
If he's in, apparently we paid over the odds for him. We could have got him cheaper a few weeks ago. If the deal's concluded and he's in a couple of weeks ago, apparently we could be having a different conversation about the Champions League.
100%. We had no spark in any of the games, and he was at least one out ball. I came in. I think I put in the chat early on. It was like I wasn't sure if we had Yang and Forrest playing. We're cutting in and the Bawz coming back, but that boy, you can see he's a player.
It's what I was talking about the other week, Jerry. We've not got a player in that team that gets you off your seat if you're at the game. Do you get what I mean? Every time he gets the ball, you're thinking of something, a wee bit of flair, something unexpected, and hopefully that Taneki's going to be that. He's got that.
He's got that Kuhn bit, isn't he? He's got that. I mean, you can say what you like about Kuhn, but getting off the ball. But in the Champions League, he was the one player in the team that was that had Champions League class written him out at his best when he was getting his best there, eh? And I think this boy, I think he'll get you off your seat, eh?
Yep.
It's a whale. And he can go outside too. I mean, but Balak Tewisha, he did go outside. I think that's what I was saying, Jerry. I think some of the criticism I've seen him getting is a wee bit OTT. He said his debut at the Bronx and then he's played in that surface.
I'll be honest, John.
How Kuhn started.
I know. That's why I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I've not seen anything yet.
Never
seen his waste all the flipping weeks and £4.5 million on him, but at his early days, what wrote Kuhn?
Jerry, you've been chasing it for about 2 years, about 18 months.
Aye. Well, to me, he passed the ball back. He was taking the easy route out. I called him a coward in our chat. I just thought it might be a bit harsh, but I thought he looked for the easy route. And as we said, Brendan, with the ball's going back the way and looking to pass rather than just go and beat a man and good. But I think the days of wingers beating a man and down the outside and hit the bylines maybe gone. As Mark had said, Taneki beat his man, but he was always wanting to come inside.
Taneki's he's certainly not going back the way, eh? He's only going one place, and he looks to me as if he's got a bit of an attitude as well. We're lacking. I mean, that one he gets booked for. I didn't think it was a booking, but I think it was a booking either. But he can obviously. I mean, he plays in Sweden. He's a Tunisian international, is he a Tunisian descent?
Aye.
He's obviously no pussy, like, eh?
Yep.
He's in fact, I thought the same about so Balak Tewisha. We've not seen much yet, but early days. But I thought sometimes our boys were all different enough. You think you'd watched a different game. I thought Sriracha done. I thought he done all right. The boy seems to like to invert, but he's another one that looks to me as if he's. He looks as if he's played with Boca Juniors and River Plate and Galatasaray. He's got a bit of dig about him too. He doesn't look as if he's going to be phased there.
I didn't understand. I know it's pushing on. I didn't understand what he took him off for.
Probably just to get game time into KT's legs. Really, that's kind of what it was. It's all going to be about. But from what I've seen of that, it's that Sriracha. He'll do me for KT's understudy.
Yep. I liked the look of him, and I thought he was in a great game. I thought it was just a bit of a weird substitution, and I thought, here we go, with Tierney Fleming with his wrist and his fingers and everything strapped up. That pitch, I thought, here we go, this is a recipe for disaster.
See when you were bringing back Tierney on a free, all right, his wages up his wages, but you're bringing him back on a free transfer, and we know that you're going to have to manage his time. Greg Taylor should have been retained. Apparently Rodgers wanted to retain Taylor, whether that's been lost in the politics. I'd like to know the story there, because Taylor must have known. Taylor's played against. He saw about 5 pretenders to his throne out the door in his time there. I don't think it would have been faced. I don't think it would have been faced him up against Tierney, a different type of players. I'm not saying that he's best. Tierney's not a better player, but I would love to have seen Greg Taylor retained. He must have known that he could have played a significant number of games.
There was talk at the start, John. There was talk at the start that it was down to money, wasn't it? He wanted up the top bracket of the wages and stuff.
He's not getting that over by though, is he, Mark?
Hail, Christophe. Thanks very much for coming in again, mate. That's that French guys. Bonjour.
I heard them talking there, but even that's you terms his wage request with the Celtic board. Apparently, we nearly lost McCowan for 200 grand. Hibs and us were in at 800 grand. Celtic wouldn't go to $1 million. For fuck's sake, behave yourself,
See, the thing is, Marco, Taylor's not going to be getting any big wages over by, is he?
I don't know. I mean, really,
Maybe get a decent signing on fee, but
but that's what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? What if even he's worth there the now and he's getting maybe he was wanting 25 grand a week? But do you know what I mean? Including a signing on fee, maybe he's getting 25, 30 grand a week or there.
I don't know. I thought what made I wonder that Rodgers uses a lot as availability in terms of somebody not being injured there. Greg Taylor, he gets 10 out of 10 when he gets scored by that metric. He was very seldom not available for you.
Yep.
I tell you something else. He gives you that when he did invert. He gives you that wee bit of extra in the middle of the park that I think we're missing now. Obviously,
yep.
Tierney's what he done now. It's two totally different players, but I like to look at Sriracha. They say he played with Boca Juniors and River Plate, so he's done. He's been both sides. He's played with. Not a lot of folk done that. He's played with Galatasaray, so he'll not be phased going to the Bronx. I wouldn't have thought. I thought we Donovan. He's a big bit of a boy too. He's a bigger. He's not lightweight either. Donovan. I thought the lad had done okay, but they say don't like overcritically Balak to wish. I thought some of the things I've been hearing this would be heavy duty. He's not shown me much either yet, but early days, but the Trekkie definitely looks one to get you off a seat.
And I knew you were happy, John, with wee Maeda, the way he took his goal.
Listen, I tell you one thing. You know, that was 2 great headers in the game.
Aye.
I thought Kilmarnock's goal was
aye.
I thought that was a fantastic head, but I made us not a patch kisser. Jesus, he didn't smell for about 2 years. And that's what I was hoping. I was hoping that Rodgers would just what I've said to you guys in private. I was hoping that Rodgers could was going to create that siege mentality and be able to say to the Maidas and the Yangs of this world and saying, aye, the club shafted you, they shafted me as well, But it's the punters in the stand haven't shafted you, it wasn't them. And they're the ones that really pay your wages. So let's park all that and while you're here, we'll do our best for the guys that are, as Roger said before we when you get your wage slip on a Friday night, it's Celtic FC. It says on your wage slip. So I didn't think. Obviously, I don't know many better than you know, but I'd have been shocked if Maida had a down tool. You doesn't come across to me as that type of guy.
Yep. I agree.
He just
John, you'd be shocked if any, even as we said, looking back, Kyogo forced his way out. He wasn't at his best, but I would never say it, and I would say the same about Maida. Even Hatati, you would that just because of Japanese culture, the respect.
Absolutely.
Down in tools doesn't come into their mentality.
A brave header for Maida. And the celebration, he kisses the badge, and it's only beaten by Iheanacho's celebration at the end for the bags apparently, so it's
I think as well that proved, John, that all the pictures of him had been so fat and all that were a lot of rubbish.
That was
Aye.
Hun generated images apparently.
Yep.
I mean that boy, what is Iheanacho still? He's only about 27, 28.
No, 28 or 29, instead of 28, maybe something like that. Yeah, listen, he's played. He's an international player. He's played in.
He'll never have felt like that in his life, like he's felt like that yesterday, John.
Not in the Rodgers.
Think of the confidence and everything that will give that guy, because he's always been a bit of kind of nomad and this kind of.
Have you heard the Rodgers
concept? He's a bit weird, but a bit different from kind of your normal kind of football player people kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So maybe he'll took him up to Celtic and just think this is fucking brilliant. I should have been here.
Well, Rodgers said he's a type of man that'll type of player that'll feed after love. If he didn't know what he'd come into, he would have known. He'd have known what he'd come into when that ball hit the back of that net. And you know, he done what was asked him. I said he plays in the Premiership. He plays for Leicester. He was with Man City before that. Is that right? He's an international.
Man City, and then he was there in Spain with Sevilla.
You know yourself, somebody's head's got everybody in your life go through good patches, bad patches, maybe times in your life when your head's know where it should be. Hopefully he comes and feels your love and we get the best out of him. But yet again, it looks if that does happen, it's Rodgers that's pulled a rabbit out the hat at the last minute again, isn't it?
And again, the guys came here knowing Johnny's got 6 months to be their first, to work his way into being my first choice striker. But I mean, fingers crossed, we'll not get into it. But hopefully there'll be a striker brought in January. If not, it'll be next summer at the latest. You know what I mean? So he knows that he's not going to be the main man. No, he's not. He knows that the club's actively looking for a fucking other striker. That's what I mean. He knows that he's not going to be the main man, and yet he's still signed a 5-year deal.
See the fact that we're even having this discussion. It's just bonkers, isn't it? Yep. You know, to lose Kyogo, Kuhn, Jota injured, to sell Ida the day before you go to the Bronx. When your manager said there's no way I'll be sold to somebody else goes in, you think even with the Celtic board's standards, that was an absolute howler. The one for me I'd still like to know, and maybe it'll come out in the washing somewhere. So Ida doesn't want to go. Ida doesn't ask away, and Rodgers didn't want to sell him. So who initiated that? Where did that come from? Who decided he was going?
Who pulled Ida to the side? I mean, maybe it is. Maybe even the fact is that it's down to Rodgers to tell you. But do you know what I mean? It comes from the boat for Nicholson. But we've done offer for Big Adam Ida. We're taking it. We've accepted the offer, and it's down to the manager to tell him. I don't know how it works, but somebody at Celtic's obviously
the
tell him.
Able to veto that. Rodgers could come and say, "Chase yourself."
And it's been fucking. I think Ida's back. Well, maybe not even 100% into his back, but his agent and Nicholson's been fucking working on it.
The man that should have the balls to. The man that should be able to veto that is your CEO. He's the man ultimately that should be signing everything off. But we probably, you could read just looking for the outside in. He's probably just, as I said last week, he's probably just he's not got that authority. That authority looks to me as if it lies somewhere else. I don't see I don't see Michael Nicholson, the person, doing that. I don't see him undermining the Celtic manager like that. So who did? So you can, but staying with Sir Archie, what I bought was for it was some cross too for Maida's goal. Maida was brave. That was a great. So there was no doubt even before that. I had no doubt that Maida wasn't. That Maida would have down tools between now and if he's away in January. If that's the case. But before we had Saturday, the last time we were kind of texting each other there, we were sitting here. I was sitting here. I was looking forward to his football nice in Nigel was. I thought he wasn't great, but I think there's some good players in that team. I don't think the midfield's happening.
No,
I don't know what it is, and you know.
And I'm not even blaming Cal McGregor for it yesterday. I thought all three of the midfield were poor yesterday.
Nah, but I know, but he's you just look at him in that sixth position, you think this is not happening here. I don't know where I'm getting this, but there's a player in Engels. There's no doubt there's a player in Engels. Could he sit in the six? Can McGregor go further forward? Hattati's turning into an empty jersey. Too much of the time. For some reason that midfield's not happening.
But there's no creativity, John. That's the whole thing about it.
When's the last time you seen McGregor hitting the passes that we were used to seeing him hitting the passes that split a defence? When was the last time you seen Cal McGregor hit a pass like that? He was pointing fucking backwards at training at Lennoxton. He's so, but I think the criticism of Engels is a football player. I'm not quite sure I know what type myself he is yet, and I don't know if Rodgers knows what to do with him. But and where's Bernardo?
That's a mystery. That I mean, I know he had picked up an injury, hadn't he? But surely he's of that now. And then there was the talk, he was away with Portuguese under 21, so he wasn't up to kind of speed with the pre-season stuff and all that. But if I was Bernardo and Engels sitting watching that Hattati like yesterday and that, you'd be sitting saying to yourself, what am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because you can at least say one thing about Bernardo and Engels. Well, Bernardo can bring in, Engels can bring in again. He's free kick delivery and all that's getting better. Do you know what I mean? We're seeing that a lot more. So he can offer like that set piece threat. We know what Bernardo can add a bit more physicality to the team than Hattati. So I don't understand why Hattati is starting in that team every single week.
No,
and he's not even mixing it up to get what I mean. It's the same three all the time. There's something not right with that.
Right, so before we get down there on Sunday, we obviously we were more always quite listen to his pressers before the game, but obviously in the back of Celtic's statement the previous Saturday night, is that right? 5-9 previous Saturday night, and then I'm getting lobbed under the bus to the Sun there. We were all kind of waiting with bated breath in his presser. And I was sitting here, I was texting my laddie, and he said, it's always up when I'm coming back from my work. He says...
just up about 4 o'clock, John. I said that. I said that to you when you asked me if I knew what was going on.
That's right. So I'm sitting here, I'm waiting on it. And I'm sitting thinking, they're not releasing this. And there was a wee snippets getting released there. You had the wee bit. There was a wee bit about where he was effectively calling for the resignation of whoever it was that went to the Sun there. That was released, and apparently, obviously, Sky's get the Sky's get the they've got the they've maybe not got the film, but they've got the sound there, and that John McGinley was releasing the transcript as it goes as well, so that was out there too. But there's no doubt, man. I mean, they must. I said to my laddie, they must be sitting there thinking, we can't release this, and we can't no release this. But what way do we go here? It's they must have thought about editing it. They must have thought about no putting it out. But I tell you one thing, it was Box. You know. I'm not lovely Brendan. But I tell you one thing, he's not like his own when it comes to.
He played a blinder with that, Johnny. He really did.
That stage, man. Michael Gannon, these boys, they've been briefed before they get there. No doubt there's something happening.
I tell you the story. The story about was the evening. Paul Maguire, thanks very much for coming in, mate. Hail. Was that he usually does the Sky? To see the 1-on-1 with Sky, he usually does that before the main press conference. But somebody for the Celtic press office told Sky that it wouldn't be happening. That's so right. He's done the press conference, and then supposedly when this press person's left the room, he's turned around to Sky and says, "If you've got time, if you don't mind hanging about, we'll do the 1-on-1 now." So I don't know if he went against. I don't know whether it's something to do with Sky, whether it's something to, do you know what I mean? But there was meant to have been something went on, and obviously we know there's something on, John, with the timing and what actually came out, what was released and stuff like that. But it was definitely a weird one, and it just hyped up more the kind of mystery into the what's going on here. Another. This is another brick in the wall kind of thing.
The boy with the record, is it Michael? I don't read papers, but is it Michael Gannon or something? Rodgers, he's good with that. He's got some of their first names, Michael. Michael knows the question. Michael asks him, "Do you know who it is?" And then he's got the big long pause that says "aye" before he says "no." Aye.
And then he gives a wee wink.
Plus the wink. He's Rodgers very, very seldom uses a word that doesn't say something. This thing we saying Peter Lowell. There's no way in the world Peter Lowell spoke to the guy for the Sun. Do you get what I mean? There's no way that's came from Peter Lowell, but there's no way that there'll be any provable. Do you get what I mean by that, John? There's no way Peter Lowell's phoned up a guy for the Sun and says, "Here, blah blah blah." He's going to place through somebody else kind of thing, but it's obviously came from Lowell. Do you know what I mean? It's just speculation, and we don't really know, do we? But I thought effectively your man's asked the. So I said to you, John, maybe it was Brendan himself. No, no chance. Your man's asked for an investigation, and I think as his employer, Celtic owe it to Brendan Rodgers to have a full investigation, and whoever did do that, whoever did go to the Sun with chronological inexactitudes, lies, whoever did go to the Sun with that story, they should resign or they should be sacked. Definitely. There's loads in what he said. Even the other day there, when he says, "I've got a great relationship with Michael. I've got a great relationship with your man Mackay, Chris Mackay. I've got a good personal relationship with Dermot. He's a big one of the big reasons I come back." No mention Pedro. But again, John, there's no reason for him to have day-to-day contact with Peter Lowell. I know, but come on. Aye, but that again, it's if he just flung his name. Oh, aye, definitely. It became, John, just even his association with Celtic News just became toxic. But we knew that. Even if there's nothing underhand in terms of his over-involvement, his very presence is. You think of the dynamic there where somebody who's perception. The perception. I read something that was talking about the perception of the club and the perception. He said, "Aye," and it's Peter Lowell. His actual presence there and the perception that it gives the club kind of thing. It's still Lowell's club. And we all sit and argue. We all sit and argue about it. No matter how much he comes out dragging
Hugh Keane was out his bed at 4 a.m. to tell him, while Law's here, John, we're always going to be arguing about what his actual influence is.
That's almost a sight. He needs to. He certainly needs to go. That's not even a question. But your bigger question is.
I feel your actual duties is their job, Johnny Nicholson and Mackay.
Absolutely, but you mean I don't know whether Quinny's been listening to our podcast, but Quinny says that incompetence, maybe they don't know what they don't know. I thought, I wonder if they've been listening to us having that conversation.
Aye, just sitting there with all that money and just like, we don't know how to spend this. This is just...
I'm saying sometimes somebody just doesn't know. They're at the limit of their competence, and they literally don't know what they don't know. And that's what I said the other week. The most important thing you can know is you know what you don't know, and you know who does know. That's when Quinny said that today, I thought, I wonder if you've been listening to the Bawz and Bhoys Bovril podcast here, but they need to go. Why do you still need? You need to answer these questions. Why did you not get these deals over the line? Why is Kuhn, Kyogo not being replaced? Why is who in there is trying to negotiate the deals? Who didn't get them over the line? And does Dermot Desmond have a level of control here that's disproportionate to his to his level of ownership? Because that's what needs addressed. Whoever you bring in doesn't need to be on the board, but they need, if they've no got, if Michael Nicholson is a good guy, as Brendan said, and Chris Mackay is a good guy, if they don't have the requisite skills and expertise to conclude deals, to get what we need to do we've said, how many times have we said, where's the flipper man, where's the wee, where's Tisdale and all this, apparently he's Rodgers' man too. For some reason it's not working.
But John, that's the thing. Rodgers kind of, I mean, he basically said the other day, John, that the board and the recruitment team, and without even getting into like but he's talking about the actual, like doing the deals. The board on that side is just no fit for purpose.
See when somebody says,
what other players did we miss out on that we didn't get a word there this summer, John, with them dragging their heels and that? That Tisdale dug up, maybe Rodgers and him dug all these players up together. Do you know what I mean?
Translate. See, he's a really nice guy. Brendan Rodgers, translation, he's fucking hopeless. as a fucking CEO, Dead nice guy, love him to bits, but you can't do it. I'd rather have somebody I didn't like, but could do it.
Oh, there's people saying in the start, John. Or John, is it? Again, but Nicholson, I think he's just maybe just as toxic as Peter Lowell is now. The Mackay guy, I kind of feel sorry for, because he's no making the decisions. He's just balancing the books and saying, right there. Do you know what I mean? So you can feel a wee bit of sympathy for that Mackay guy, maybe, because he's only the financial guy part of the team. He's not actually offering money and all that.
It's not part. It's a lack of transparency. Because of the lack of transparency, we don't know who's to blame, because we don't know who's responsible for what. You know who is negotiating the deals. What's the recruitment? But we're just repeating this here. There isn't any strategy. Trust the process. Fuck, there's no process.
Evening green smoke. Hail, brother. Sorry, shouldn't have said that. I don't know why I said that, mate.
If you get a player trading model, it doesn't mean selling off your best assets the first time that somebody offers you enough, like I did. A player trading model means you've got a replacement for Kuhn in before Kuhn goes. You've got a replacement in for Maida before Maida wants to go. Because we learned 5 years ago that holding players and keeping them at the club that don't want to be there's a recipe for fucking disaster. You're actually probably just lucky that you've got a guy in Maida that you know's not going to down tools, But
see what Patrick's put up there. See what Patrick's put up there is Tunetke down to Tisdale. See, probably if you ask the Celtic support today, Tunetke would be down to Tisdale and Brendan Rodgers and Barlick Wishy General, that would be a club signing. That would be one that the clubs kind of signed. Because that, see, even for Ange under Rodgers, his first time, that was all we went to. All the good players was down to the manager, and all the shite players, that was the club signings. That's just the way it goes now at Celtic, with why players are judged. But I mean, it's like even when I see the first window when Ange came in, and people going about it, oh, great window and all that. Right, it was a great window, but we left it late. And let's not be kidding, we brought in a guy for Spurs on loan, and Carter Vickers, a reserve for Spurs on loan, and a reserve for who was it? Jota came for, I can't even mind. A reserve for them on the last day of the window. Aye, it worked out cracking, but you can't tell me that Ange came into Celtic and said, get me Jota, get me Carl Starfelt, or get me that Cameron Carter Vickers for Spurs and that. Do you know what I mean? That they guys were, to me, are what we were now getting called club signings. And every club needs him. And that's, again, I keep saying it, we need a director of football that's planning signings for whether Brendan's here next summer, the summer after that, whether he walks out and gets hot with a bus tomorrow. You know what I mean, John? We need something in there with that length of plan. A 1 year plan, a 6 month plan, a 2 year plan, a 5 year plan. We need somebody in there. No matter, managers come and go at clubs nowadays. We need somebody above the manager controlling the actual direction that the club and the football department is taking.
We've been saying for years, a director of football that's in a recruitment strategy that's data driven, that we know we know the type of player that we need. We as I say, you only need to look at we've spent £15 million in centre halves, and Scales is still the best centre half that you've had apart from that, and that was
that Kilmarnock goal yesterday, John. That's the actual perfect example of what we're missing. Somebody defending that.
He's only at the club because Aberdeen were 50 grand short. So it's you don't have a. I mean, back to what I'm saying. Celtic as a football club don't have a. I don't want to seem the same. We can't tell you every day. I don't want to know every detail. I know things, particularly when deals are progressing. All I want to know is what's the letter that the boy Lowe was asking shareholders to put in, saying what's the purpose of Celtic Football Club? What do we exist for? What's the vision? Where are we trying to get to? Is that to qualify for the last 16? You see what you like about Rodgers. He took you within a ball here, he taken them all the way last year to be back to where you are. That's just cross failure in terms of Celtic as a club. Mm-hmm. What's the purpose? What do we exist for? What's the vision? Where are we trying to get to? What's the strategy? How are we going to get there? Who's responsible for what bits of that strategy? And how are we going to measure their performance? These are just basic fucking questions, eh? It's just spray gun fucking recruitment. You know, you end up with fucking 6 wingers in one line, 25 midfielders and 1 left back alone. You're thinking it's just fucking chaos. And unless this gets addressed, and I think Rodgers is doing his best here. He's right. Things need to change. If there's no, if he effectively said, if there's no commitment, that things don't change for what happened this window, can he stay? He's told you does he want to be a maintenance manager? He wants to, and he's also told you he doesn't want Premiership millions either. And so somebody criticised him there for saying he's questionable about spotting a player. Spotting a player's no Brendan Rodgers' job. Brendan Rodgers is a coach. Right? The director of football. He should have an opinion on the player. He should be allowed an opinion on the player. If that player's been brought in, right, is he good enough to join your first team squad? Or will we? See like Shin that join. I don't see if Celtic do that. Big clubs do that. They buy a player and say, right, he's not good enough for you, but we'll bring him in, get him out on loan,
and let them develop in another club. Look at Man City and Chelsea. They do it all the time, and if they make it, they've got a player. If they don't, they make money off them. But there's got to be, Rodgers has got to have an input on players that are coming into the club to the extent if they're getting into the team. If that, look, is he good enough for the first team now? No. Right, that's for me then, that's sort of Rodgers' Jones kind of thing. He's a good player, but he wouldn't get in the first team squad unless we'd have an injury crisis. He's got to have some kind of input, but again, the longer term, and it was like, right, Lennon Miller, right, but whether he was ever how fought he didn't come to Celtic, right, but that decision shouldn't have been down to Brendan Rodgers. Right, obviously, it's down to Lennon Miller and his agent, but at Celtic, the decision at Celtic, whether we should have been pushing, chasing Lennon Miller, trying our arse off to get him or whatever, shouldn't have been down to Brendan Rodgers, because Brendan Rodgers, going with his contract, isn't going to be here next season. An 18-year-old player from Motherwell signing a 5-year contract is going to be here for at least 4 years until we get mega money offered for him. Do you know what I mean? That's it, John. Who's making the decisions? Who's making the future planning? Oh, you muted yourself. Jerry, have you fell asleep?
No, mate, I'm just listening to two yous waffling on, aye.
Who you got to say about that?
I've been reading more the chat. That Football Life has come up with. I'm kind of agreeing with him and Masty's points that he's been making. But we're going over the old same old ground.
Aye.
We know that we should have had a director of football in years ago. Bobby was laughed at one of the boys had said what happened when remember the Figo Harkin was meant to be coming in as the director of football or whatever it was, and then we're going to have. I mean, what happened then? Why are we the only club in last season's Champions League that never had a director of football? What is that letter?
Jerry, I think we're one of the few clubs I can even think of that don't have somebody doing that. I mean, you go to clubs, they've all got fancy different names, sporting director, right? But basically they're a director of football.
Yep.
I mean, even what we would call it wee diddy teams. I mean, there, Davy Weir just left.
Brighton.
Is it Brighton? I mean, look at what Brighton were doing.
Yep.
I mean, imagine Huns went and get Davy Weir in to help them out. That would be a big, massive step in the right direction for them. Going with what he's done for Brighton as the director of football.
They're all statistics driven, aren't they? And data analysis.
Aye.
Them and.
But he's arranging it. But it's the director of football. He's been in charge of all that. He's had a lot of saying how that's all set up and stuff like that. Even Celtic just get stuck. We're still stuck on like the word the scouts and agents tipping you off about players and stuff like that.
I was looking into that. I was watching that game yesterday, and I'm looking into that director box at Rugby Park, and fucking Brian Wilson's sitting there. You're thinking, Brian Wilson's been there for about 200 years. Eh? You're thinking, see if these guys are just on. If these guys are not moving off the board, they need to get, from a management point of view, that they're bringing professional people in on more of a rotational basis every 2, 3, 4, 5 years. If they're going to sit, there's absolutely no chance.
You know what it's like, John, when all these people are together, all these boards, they think that everything goes stagnant.
But that David Lowe said it to JP Dykes the other day. He was talking about it. We've touched on this before, right? It's no my area of expertise. John will know more about it than I do. But it's like the actual legal requirements, John.
Absolutely.
These kind of non-executive directors that are meant to be holding the board to account when things aren't going that way. Yep. Somebody's chair's creaking or something like that. I heard that too there, Bobby. Big Jerry's cable. When you said that night, it was maybe your cable, Jerry.
No, I can hear it in my end, so it can't be myself. I can hear it. But John
sitting in a rocking chair, just rocking back and forward, staring at Brendan Rodgers. Staring at his Brendan Rodgers book. I'll burn you one day, you bass.
But it's an old pals act. That's what's right through our club. That's from coaching, board, the whole shebang, and that's what's holding us back. And it's going to continue to hold us back. I was off. I had to jump off for like 5 minutes to speak to somebody, but did Did you touch on or speak about the boys coming in late and the ones that never yesterday?
No, I've no spoke about
Never
it.
mentioned
No.
it, no.
No. What's your take on that, John? I mean, there wasn't I thought they were done a lot more outside when the game kicked off than there would have been. I mean, it looked as if there was maybe about half and half.
No, 75-25 apparently. Yeah.
Was it? Right.
Did you see, Jerry, did you see the videos outside it?
No.
Celtic Trust not put videos outside it, John. See, Jerry, see if you were there. I wouldn't have liked to be standing there with Wayne's or the wife or that. It was a bit cramped and crowded. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever been to Rugby Park?
No.
The concourse is only the biggest, you know what I mean? And you can see why people did get into their seats, maybe just because of their Wayne's with them or whatever and that. But see, my take on that, and somebody put it up, you can't force people to do something.
I tell you,
do you know what I mean?
What needs to be maintained here is a bit of respect that we all see things differently.
Aye.
It's, for me personally, I didn't take stick on subject here. It's apparently 75% stayed out, 25% comes in, and apparently there was no issues at the ground with somebody that wanted to go and take their seat. Apparently there's been a lot of stuff that's not been very nice on social media. I've not got social media, so I don't know.
I totally get all of that, but we see, look, for what we're all really wanting to try and achieve, we all really need to stick together long term.
Absolutely.
We can't start getting, and as Mark says, if it's a safety issue, I mean, I would have stood outside, but see if I was there with my kids and I felt, hey, this isn't safe, I'd have been inside. So I totally get that, totally understand it. But we really need to stick together, make sure there's no egos, and all agree to do the same thing. We're snookered with the Europa package. Aye, say for talk's sake, me and John no taking it. I know for a fact that there's people been messaging me saying, see if you're not going to take that Europa League package, can I have it? And if I say, well, what's the point of me giving it to you? You're still getting money to that board. So when it goes out to general sale, Joe Bloggs is going to buy it anyway.
I would love to see.
This is the thing.
Last week, I'd have loved to have seen nobody taking the Europa League part. I'd like to have seen the stadium empty. But that's but then if you ask me to go a step further, and I'm happy to get in there, not to buy one other bit of merchandise. I'm happy to get in there and take a piece from me and not even buy a pie. They're rank anyway. But I understand
that will still get flagged up, but because I mean, what Celtic want is everybody signed up to that home cup ticket scheme. Boom, tickets out. Boom, the money's out your bank. The money's out your bank, and that's it. That was, you know what I mean. That in a way kind of is a flag to the board that people see that. What you're saying, John, they'll know that you've not took your season as a season ticket holder. You've not took up these tickets. That's no, and that isn't what they want.
There was 7 out of 10 buses, I think, did they want to pull it? I mean, I think everybody should. Your first thing, you think, I'd like to have seen everybody pulling out that scheme, and a lot of people did. The home cup scheme, but you can see why a lot of buses didn't want to do it, because they pull out that they can't run a bus. So you know, for me, I would love to see nobody taking the Europa League packages. I would even be willing to stay. See, unless you get consensus across the Celtic support to say, you know what, we're just not going to come to the game. Even though you've got our money, we're going to leave you fucking. We're going to boycott. We're just going to stand outside. It's I don't want to see where my line is. My line is I don't want to see anything
affecting the team
that damages the team.
That's the I think, John, that's the fine line. I mean, we spoke on the last pod about the kind of answers we put on the survey and stuff, and all my answers were that I would support. I would have supported I supported getting in late. I would never support leaving early, because that's when games are won and lost.
I'm not convinced if I'd have been down there on Saturday, Sunday, that I would have waited my 12. Certainly if I did my Wednesday when I felt I had to get to my seat, I'd have done what I needed to do. And certainly somebody in my face telling me I had to stay out would have made me again. But apparently that wasn't the case at the part. Apparently there was a fair degree of respect both ways for the guys that stayed out. I don't think there was any issues, and same when they. I think they were
John,
showing a bit of respect with the guys that were already
what if me
in.
and you were at that game, John, right? And I'm standing there with crutches. I know why me and you could have stood out there for 12 minutes. We'd have needed to say here, we'll need to kind of go after, you know what I mean, at 10, even standing out there for 8 or 10 minutes, but I'd be like, John, we'll need to get out of here that I got up these stairs. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, everybody's different. There's probably guys that were in the ground with their old da. Do you get what I mean? You're all day to your old da. Well, I'm not standing out here, Monda. We'll go up to the seat. We know they both agree with what the fans are doing, but they're not standing out there with an 80-year-old guy. Stuff like that. You can't force them.
The Europa League package was an easier shout for me than the 12 minutes at Kilmarnock, because I don't want to do anything that affects the team in terms of jeopardises their chances of winning the league. I couldn't give a monkeys about the Europa League package, no remotely interested in it. It's it would have been a damning indictment on the club if the stadium was empty. But I had some reservations about even the fans staying out the park for the first 12 minutes yesterday. I'm glad it's 12 and no the last 12. It's I don't want to do anything that jeopardises the team.
See, look, long term, what Jerry was saying there, that we need to find like a medium where protests against the board can keep going on, but everybody agrees it doesn't affect the team. But I think, see, for the length of time, John, it's where we've came basically as a support for last Saturday night to where we're sitting here just over a week later. I think there's been a massive shift in the kind of the swelling that people that want changes and want to know what's actually going on. They know that Celtic should be better, and I don't think any Celtic fan can disagree with that. See how Celtic have treated their workers is a sad indictment in your values as a club. When I'm watching how Celtic's treated Yang, how they've treated Maida, how Ida's been treated, Rodgers is thrown under a bus to the Sun. If that happened in a workplace, it would need to be an investigation. Would you want to work for Celtic? Would you? If there's one person Rodgers is capable of, as I say to you, that was my hope, and I think that looked as if it had happened in Sunday. Is that Rodgers was capable of creating that fucking siege mentality and saying to him and Yang and saying, you're right, they have shafted you and they fucking shafted me as well. But it's not about them, and they're not really. See, if folk get pay your wages, are sitting in that away end there, it might be him up in the director's box that signs the cheque, but it's all the guys that are standing outside there that actually puts the money in that pays you.
Absolutely.
This is, can I talk about, John? I use it quite a lot when we go through and talk about Celtic poor performances. Professional pride, do you know what I mean? And then your pride and just doing the utmost best at your job. And that's what I mean. Again, we're bringing it up about the Japanese players. I've not got any questions. And well, I know Yang's no Japanese, but you know what, the people for that area of the world, I've not got any question that they're losing any of their love for Celtic or even Brendan Rodgers, because they'll know that it's no Brendan Rodgers' fault that they didn't get their move.
Yeah, because he's getting the same raw deal that they're getting,
They're not getting what they're wanting. Rodgers isn't getting what he's wanting. I mean, Rodgers would have been probably happy enough for Maida. Do you know what I mean? He's happy for any player to go into bigger and better things because he sees that as a bit of a feather in his cap because he's coaching, which is fair enough. But if there had been a replacement brought in for Maida, Rodgers would have been fair dues. Thanks very much for everything you've done on your way. Because many times, as he said, if a player doesn't want to be here, I don't want them here.
If he's heard Brian Dempsey, Brian Dempsey was speaking about. Brian Dempsey, he said, you know, the Celtic supports no customers. He said we're the reason. We're the reason. He talked about the commitments that families and people make to Celtic. We're the reason that Celtic's financially viable. And he used a great word, and I think I'd used it in the podcast last week. He's That statement was one of the apologies. You must have times in your life somebody's making apologies to you, and you get halfway through it, and I'm a great believer. It doesn't matter which went down. If there's genuine, and it's a word that Brian Dempsey used as well, if there's genuine contrition, if somebody's got a true purpose of amendment, and they think, I got that wrong, I'm really, really sorry, fair dues. I don't care how bad something is, anything can be moved on for. Anything can be moved on for. See, when somebody's giving you one of the apologies, they get halfway through, you think, this is not even a fucking apology. But
just a big spiel.
We're now going down the road of how you telling me how you were right and I was wrong all along. See that Celtic statement? There's no way back for that. And Dempsey said he would have walked. He said if it had been him after that window and failure to qualify for Europe, he would have walked out onto the centre circle and he would have expressed his contrition in face to face with 60,000 people. He's a man at least gets the. But that, what it does is it flags up the dichotomy between his awareness, his sentiments, Brian's sentiments, and the contempt that the Celtic board has for you. And there's no way back for that. There's no. Somebody needs to carry the can for not getting the deals over the line. Somebody needs to carry the can for the fact that you didn't get into that champion. And I've heard the criticisms of Rodgers as well, but I don't think he's ducked that either. Were we good enough to beat them? But I think that's a factor of all the negativity that was surrounding the club. Somebody needs to carry the can for Kyogo, Kuhn not being replaced, Jota being injured, selling Ida the night before you go it. Somebody needs to carry the can for that. And see, if the CEOs no get the authority, he carries the can for that. He's the CEO. He's the man responsible for that. Ultimately, he either carries the can for that, or if somebody's calling the shots above him that he can't control. He's got got any moral, he's got to resign. He's got to resign and call it out. But the bottom line is, see, if you pay somebody, when you pay people, a lot of people, when you pay them enough money, their principles go out the window. And as I said to you, Michael Nicholson drew down 800 grand last year. I could replace the Celtic board for 800 grand.
I see, you said that to me the other night. I thought, as a CEO of a club goes, it's no great money. Do you know what I mean? You're talking bottom level of the pub league and that, but I thought lawyers was, I thought lawyers were on crazy kinds of money anyway, John, just when you see them on the telly getting £200 an hour and stuff like that.
Michael Nicholson's no at Celtic tomorrow. Not only does he lose his wee green and white club tie and his wee soft seat, he'd be lucky to go near 80 grand, never mind 800 grand. It's so that needs a test.
I mean, there's talk of Lowell's retiring, right? Or it'll be announced that he's retiring, whether it's at the AGM, he'd maybe know even all this way that they vote them, keep voting them on all at the same time. There's some rumours about that Lowell's already being retired, agreed to retire, whatever, but that's not enough, John.
That's not enough.
Because again,
we're not talking about a bad windy here.
I'm talking about systematic failure and windies and failure to properly invest in what is the most important part of the club.
You've had 20 years of failure. You've had a managed decline 3 times now. You'd have managed decline after Martin O'Neill. You'd have managed decline when you see what Strachan was left with. You'd have managed decline after Lennon, and you're watching a managed decline. But I tell you, you don't deal with this. You don't deal with the Michael Nicholsons of this world. You don't get a handle on it. It's not speculation. I don't know any better than you do. Does Dermot Desmond have a level of authority that's disproportionate to his holdings? Is Michael Nicholson the man that's trying to do the deals and just can't do it? Unless you get a handle on that, it's just rinse and repeat here. You're not going anywhere. Doesn't matter who you bring in. And I think the one person will know that better than I know it and better than you know it is Brendan Rodgers.
I mean, it's like, is that a case of maybe even? I mean, we're not wanting to like compare ourselves to Man United, but is there maybe somebody out there that would buy a stake in the club to get that kind of say and say, right, leave the foot beside to me, the way that the Amazon guy Radcliffe done? I'm not saying we want that kind of split, because for me that's a bit iffy, but there's got to be somewhere. I mean, let's face it, Dermot Desmond's gone nowhere. Right, no, that's all this talk about shares and that bit, John. Let's be honest, Dermot Desmond would be probably cold in his grave by the time the Celtic support can manage to make the kind of moves. We're talking it would be years, but the immediate effect has got to be what's happening now. We spoke about the 2, 3, 5 year plan. What the fuck is happening? Why are we failing to sign players? Why are we scraping the bottom of the barrel at the end of every window? Why is players turning us down left, right and centre? Agents laughing at us, other clubs laughing at us. We need to get people in there that have got a bit of a reputation to rebuild Celtic's reputation in the transfer market. Because we're great at selling players, but we're an absolute joke when we're signing them.
I repeat myself just to say, try to get rid of Dermot Desmond's a big ass. That's a long show. But what you need to deal with is the immediate incompetencies, whether that's Nicholson, recruitment, vision, strategy, all of the above, or you're going nowhere, eh? You're going absolutely nowhere. But ultimately for me,
people in their positions.
Ultimately, you'll know this as well, Jerry. Ultimately, I don't know how many. When you're involved with companies as well, it's I've said before, you can have as many professional people in their respective posts. Culture comes for the top, eh? And
but surely you would, if that was your company, right, and you're Desmond, you turn around and you say to yourself, you get a meeting with him, like, what's going on here? What's happened? Why did this no go? What went wrong? What is your strategy here? What are we trying to do? Where are we wanting to go? We're hoarding this money for what? Why we no sign the players? Why is our youth system shite? Why we no what's going wrong here? Rather than fanning about a golf course.
But the bad news here is I'm with football is life here. I think that DD is the biggest part of the problem. But that's that's a long ball game.
But I mean, honestly, John, he's 75. I don't see by the time anything like that can realistically happen, he'll be shuffled off this mortal coil, and it'll be Ross that's in charge.
He called Martin O'Neill. He's the man that appointed Martin O'Neill. He's the man that appointed Rodgers the first time. He brings fucking Rodgers back the second time. By all accounts, Gordon Strachan turns up at training one day, and he's got a player there that he knows fuck all about. And Dermot Desmond's his bottom, eh? No, if that's a guy that's got 34%, he's your ultimate venture capitalist, eh? Assets. He's never made fuck all in his life, eh? He's when was the last time he was at an AGM? He said, there's loads of caveats in here. You could end up with worse than what you've got, eh? So, I don't want to be bought over by a country or by some.
What I've said
to you before, and I heard I actually said, there's the Celtic Trust. It's a long ball game for Lowe, trying to see how many lost shares out there, how many people with shares among the fans would be willing to give. They don't need to sell their shares. They just need to give. They just need to give their shares in trust and let the Celtic Trust speak for them. There's mere business acumen. There's mere business acumen in one of the fucking 10 seats sitting behind the Celtic board that's paying their wages. Trust me, because I know a few of them. There's more business acumen sitting there than there will ever be on the Celtic board. So it needs addressed.
Again, I mean, I say this a lot, even like about the money and stuff like that, John, sitting in the bank, which the end game. I mean, we know, right, Dermot Desmond, He spent millions on shares in Celtic over the years. He's didn't all this thing that he takes out all this money, that doesn't happen. It's in the accounts so much Dermot Desmond takes out the club. So the only way Dermot Desmond would make serious money off of Celtic is selling these shares. But it's like, why is a guy that's a billionaire, all these ways of making money, and he's sitting there, he's not making money off of Celtic, so what is the point of him want to be the main man? Do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, and I'll throw it to you, you went off, you're not about it, right? See if Peter Law wanted a statue outside Celtic Park, he 20 years to get made, he could 20 years, and all the millions we've had, and all the millions we've wasted on shite players, and all the millions we've made off of transfers, the 100 million in the bank, Peter Law had all that to make sure he got a statue outside Celtic Park, and failed fucking miserably with everything. And I can't. Every time we do these podcasts and we talk about it with Dermot Desmond, I just can't get my head around why he allows a club that he says he loves and that. He's a great. Brendan says he bleeds green and white, whatever. He's the manager's best pal. He's got one. Right, we joke about it all there, but an elite manager. But right, let's face it, he is still an elite level manager. We got a public job the more if he probably wanted one. But why Dermot Desmond no want Celtic to be the best he is? Nobody can fathom that out. Nobody's come up with any kind of explanation of that. Because he's no making money. He doesn't need the money out of it.
You're dealing with a guy here that says, I don't care if 10,000 people tell me I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it my way. That's what you're dealing with, eh? This is a guy that after you lost the league to them, said 5 years down the line he would give you a better team than you had under Martin O'Neill. Well, how does that look, Dermot? What I can't get my head around about. I don't really give a fuck what he gets out of it. I'm more interested in what we get out of it, and I'm at a loss as to why a man that Disney hold 66% of the shareholding in Celtic appears to be calling the shots, including over the years the appointment of managers and the recruitment of players.
But it's like David Lowe touched on this with PJ as well, talking about and I know a wee bit about this after reading all the stuff about Rangers getting into administration and all the way companies are set up and stuff like that. The 30% thing at the shareholding. But I didn't know that with that Dermot Desmond that actually get dispensation for the takeover panel to get these shares and put them over the 30% so that he didn't need to offer to buy every Celtic share that's out there available. Because that's the part of company law. If you buy more than 30%, because mind Dave King tried to play a flanker, and that's when the concert party lie all fell apart because but that's the thing, John. He's Dermot Desmond's own 34%, but he's got all his wee clique, Peter Law and all that, with the rest of the shares that give him plenty enough just to keep passing it. I mean, it's just like you see the AGMs. It's a formality. The AGMs are a fucking joke. You're not allowed to ask questions. It's just the board's voted unanimously to re-elect every board member. All right, that's it then. Cheers. And that's it.
There's no way back. That statement is, is this board capable of making you a Club Brugge or a Brighton? Do you see the talent there to deliver that? The statement. There's no way back for the statement for me. Once somebody said that to me, that was an insult to my intelligence. That statement. It was an insult to the Celtic support.
Between that and the hit job in the Sun, I think that was the kind of, even a lot of the kind of like the middle of the road fans like, I wish they would do that, but I'm not wanting to rock the boat. But I think after the hit job in the Sun, and then the same night, back in 9 at night, bad. Do you know what I mean? When bad news just gets ate up with something bad happening overnight on a Saturday night. And that's when they released that statement, which was an absolute... It was a joke. It really was. It's...
I said to you, the way they've
not even signed.
players,
Nobody even the Bawz John to put their name to that. Any statement from the club should have Michael Nicholson's signature at the bottom of it. Peter, or even Lowell, because he likes to keep it, you know what I mean? He likes a wee signing, but somebody should have signed that statement because it was officially for the club.
Folk that say, I've seen people saying, I think yesterday was evidence that Rodgers has created that siege mentality. But I'd like to maybe telling Maida, Yang, Welsh, they're another man. They had a permanent deal sorted out, and he's now in a year's loan to fucking to Motherwell. Is that how they treat their employees? Well, we know they took them up to fucking 2 years ago to pay the people behind their counters a minimum 11 wage. So somebody said the players have lost faith in BA. They've lost faith in Brendan Rodgers. They've lost faith. They've lost faith in the same way as that I've lost faith. I've lost faith in Celtic Football Club. It's that's how they've treated their how they treated Maida, Yang, Welsh, how they've conducted their business with other clubs and with other players. It's what a sad indictment when they use the Celtic Football Club. One of the things I always hated about the Huns is they're just arrogant bastards and self-entitlement. And that was the one thing that set us apart. I see that same fucking arrogance sitting in the Celtic board, the same self-entitlement. It's I said to you a while ago, Celtic's in danger of losing its soul.
No, John. John Cena, why? But that's what the fans are fighting for.
Absolutely.
Evening, Jerry H. I think that's a new name there. Thanks very much for coming in, mate. Nice to see you, buddy. No, John, Cena, why? I think that's what the fans are fighting for. I don't understand. Even on the forum, I don't know why fans are actually arguing over this.
I heard Kevin McKenna was speaking this morning. Kevin McKenna detests the Celtic board as well, and he says, but see, when I go to see Celtic, how many times you heard me saying this? He says, it's not just about 90 minutes of FAPA. It's about the guys I meet before it, the guys I've met for 50 years. The folk I go for a pint with, the crack that I have, meeting family and friends, all of that, it's so much more complicated than somebody just telling you to go. So I would never be able to give up my. I wouldn't be willing to give up my season ticket. So I'm not going to criticise somebody that can't do what I'd be willing to do, which is not take the Europa League package. But they need to go. You need change, or you ain't. I don't see any of them being willing to go to a Brighton or a Club Bruges and say what do they sell? They sell £70 million worth of talent and bring in 30. Do you see them even thinking? Do I know what I don't know? And if I don't know, who does know?
That's
just stale, Mark.
I even say this about Dermot Desmond, right, going back to him, because, I mean, no matter what happened, right, we can argue a toss about shares and whatever, right, but ultimately, even if we're blaming Peter Lowell, but ultimately, Dermot Desmond controls Peter Lowell. Do you know what I mean? That he's the top, Dermot Desmond, the top man. And it's like, well, but you're saying, put the feelers out. Celtic's looking for a director of football. Get one of these, but through the films, as we spoke about, Dom Mackay, it's not as if he's turning up for a welding job, John. Do you know what I mean? Can you weld? Aye, your papers, right, starting Monday. He's went through this process of recruitment and he was there a matter of months. But wait, I mean, I couldn't tell you who would be a good director of football. Do you know what I mean? You've got an opinion in your own head, or somebody like Ronnie, bring back Ronnie to look after all right. I don't know. Because so many directors of football you see at clubs, you're like, how the hell did he get that? Davy Weir, can you imagine? They're a perfect example. But he's that experienced in that, he probably knows a lot more about the game than people would give him credit for, right? But just put the feelers out there and get the best we can. He doesn't need to have played for Celtic. Get the best youth scout that we can get. Advertise it, whether he comes from Spain, whether he comes from Mexico, or wherever he comes from. Get the best youth scout that applies for the job, or we can look into getting or recommend it for somebody. But get out there and put the best people in these positions, and then just sit back and let the machine at Celtic work. Because I mean, it is a machine, and partly it's a well-oiled machine, John. The making money side of it, the spending money, which is the most important when it's a football club, it's clattered shut. There's just a blockage there that something's just holding the club back in that sense. And until these changes get made, nothing will change. And I don't understand why Dermot Desmond isn't in that mindset. He just get the best people in to do a job. It's no cost. It's not going to cost them any more money. Do you know what I mean? Wage bill. We're sitting with all this money in the bank and stuff like that. Just use it to better the club.
But see, the thing is, two things, Mark. See, we've made a lot of money, but we could have made a hell of a lot more.
Well,
a hell of a lot more. That's one thing. The other thing is,
but again, Jerry, that falls back on poor recruitment.
Also,
do you know what I mean?
Desmond obviously thinks that Lowell and Nicholson and all them are doing right good jobs, or he'd have done something about it. So he has the biggest problem we're going to encounter. It doesn't matter. We could get rid of Lowell and Nicholson. He's just going to pick two other yes men.
Aye,
he's going to get maybe people a wee bit. They're not going to stone up to him, but they're maybe going to be a wee bit more knowledgeable and a wee bit more wiser.
Throw Martin O'Neill on the board as a non-executive director. Could you do something like that, John? Oh, don't know if you heard that.
Nah, he's
No,
mute, though.
No, he's not muted himself. See even something like that. I mean, Martin O'Neill, he's a bit long in the tooth to give like a director of football or any kind of responsibility, but have something like Martin O'Neill's voice in the boardroom.
I think you're still dealing with somebody for a bygone age. I think you need a total reset.
Yep.
I think you need a total reset. Or you just get to that stage where you just thinking, what's see the good thing is the good thing is there's covers blown, Nobody's kidded anymore. I think even maybe when I've been saying that, I don't know how long I've been saying that I could see a board that was at the limits of the individual and collective capabilities. So I said I've been inside enough companies when I can see when somebody's out their depth.
Yep.
And that's been apparent to me for a good number of years. So I think their cover's blown, and that's the good news. We maybe don't have the answers, but you'll never get the answers. You're starting places of questions.
I said that earlier on. Well, that is just kind of placating. He's the bogey man. Maybe he's got a wee bit long in the tooth. He's older now. Peter Lawes, do you know what I mean? Maybe he's just said, I'm not wanting this hassle. Maybe he has said, I'm not wanting this hassle any longer. I'm off. I'm retiring. But that's not going to change. That's not going to.
What I'm trying to say is we don't have the answers here, but we've got the questions. And the questions is why did they deal? Why did they deals don't go over the line? Why is your recruitment strategy continually failing? Why are we now in year 20 of European failure? Why have we had 9 goes at Europe qualifying and failed 7 times, 5 times continuously, consecutively? So at least we've got the questions now, and there's a lot. Tell you, listen, the Celtic support's no daft. There's a lot of bright men and a lot of bright people among the Celtic support.
Cheers, John.
And there's a lot of.
I've been telling you that for 3 years.
There's a lot of successful businessmen that sitting behind
Big Jerry's got a degree.
You better believe it.
Dr. Jerry.
Sitting behind, there's more business acumen sitting behind that Celtic board that will ever be on the Celtic board. See when I seen Brian Wilson sitting there, I thought, for fuck's sake, eh? It's so you're needing a reset. Somebody, and I think if there's one man, and you need to give Rodgers this, he's the man that's putting all the questions up there for you. Eh?
Well, he's not the one that fronts up every week at least.
I put on the forum, John. He played a blinder on Friday with that press conference. Whether it's edited out, whatever he's kind of even forced to make sure he's getting out there, because he threw the gauntlet down to the board and even to Dermot Desmond. But he must know that he's got Dermot Desmond backing for him to come out and say some of the things he did. I think. He must have, John, because something was a bit. Well, it's not the kind of usual thing you expect any kind of manager to come out and talk about.
What else can he have done?
But that's what but he's threw that gauntlet down, and the fans were all moaning, right? Oh, we've played shite, we've done this, we were shite, blah blah blah, right? But that as well, it showed the fans what Brendan Rodgers thinks. He's agreeing with us. He wants the club to be the best it is, and if the club wants to be the best it is, he's willing to stay here and help make it that. So see if he doesn't stay. He's walking out of here, and he's played the long game. He's walking out at the end of this. If he leaves at the end of the season, John, no matter what happens, it's going to be the board's fault in the fans' eyes.
You're talking about Martin O'Neill. I would put Brendan Rodgers on it. I would make if I owned Celtic tomorrow, I would put Brendan Rodgers on the board tomorrow. I don't know how you can do that at my club, can you? And even in terms of a director of football, I think he's not a spotter of a talent. But I tell you one thing, he knows what it takes to be a
Brendan Rodgers, see, I mean, I don't think he would take a job now, do you know what I mean, at his age or that, but see, like in years to come, Brendan Rodgers would be the ideal guy, because, I mean, we've spoke about it, it's as if he's a wee bit, I'm not slag out, he's that kind of focused mind, as if he's a wee bit ADHD'd up with details of stuff and that. And see, that's what you need your director of football to be, because his claws need to be everywhere. He needs to know everything about everybody that's going on, and that's what your director of football needs to know. And as you said, John, if he can't do it, he'll get somebody in that can do it. So he'll be looking for good scouts, he'll be looking for the best sports science guys, he'll make sure the young players are getting best looked after. That'll all be done to him.
You know, part of that, for the whole business development perspective, when you get into a company, you're thinking, where's the gaps here, and where do I need somebody to format the gaps in my knowledge and expertise? Eh? Do you actually see the Celtic board asking themselves that fucking question? No chance. I think I would have Brendan Rodgers as a director of football every day of the week and twice on a Sunday tomorrow. It's I'm not daft on the guy, but I'm not employing him because I like him.
Yeah, you've got to respect what he's capable of.
I'm employing him because of what I think he can bring to the party.
And see, that's the thing I know, and I've said this before, right? And surely it's the kind of it's Brendan Rodgers and Dermot Desmond, it's Martin O'Neill and Dermot Desmond, right? See, sometimes the nepotism boys in the club kind of thing can work out well for you, but they still need to be good at their job. Do you get what I mean? But no, it's like somebody saying to you, John, do you know somebody that can spray paint a motor? Oh, you do. Do you get what I mean? That kind of thing. So it's like somebody saying, do you know somebody that can do such and such a job for Celtic? I see you bring them in. So there's nothing wrong with a wee bit of nepotism and again it goes back to the little thing, he was a bit this at Man City and that at Man City, and you think, that's a bit of a catch. So does nepotism and the Celtic supporter, the Irish thing can work in our favour at certain times, but it doesn't need to be the be all and end all employees at the club. I mean, Sean Maloney, that's a weird appointment. I said that at the time. I'd rather Sean Maloney was sitting in the dugout, being part of Brendan Rodgers' coaching team. He's worked under Martinez. He's been a manager himself in that, and then we bring him in as a pathways manager to help young players make it into the first team.
Where would you get a director of football that's worked with any bigger clubs? He's already told you, see all the things he's flagging up. He can see the gaps. Rodgers is not telling you anything that I've not been bumping my gums about for fucking years in terms of pointing out the obvious gaps.
That's because you've read his book twice.
Plus he's obviously affinity with the club and his understanding of what you're all about, eh? He's
if Brendan Rodgers wasn't a Celtic supporter and brought up a Celtic, it's like Neil Lennon, do you get what I mean? These guys that can work out for you, John, if they're fans of the club, they wouldn't come here in the first place. It doesn't mean to be the be-all and end-all, they're tied to Celtic or Ireland, or do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
As far as I'm... two things are still kicking about for me in terms of their corporate negligence, in terms of they've lost you. They barred the fucking Green Brigade for costing them 20 grand. They've cost you fucking 40 million. Right? So there's a corporate responsibility. The CEO's job, their job there is to maximise return on investment for the PLC. They'll fucking fail. It's become a self-fulfilling prophecy. We'll keep money in the bank in case we don't qualify for the Champions League. No, I say, no, you can't. You fucking no qualify for the Champions League because you've kept money in the bank. And that day was coming. That day has been coming for fucking years. It's just actually, it's mind-boggling to watch it happening. Fucking mind-boggling. I'm not saying Maloney should get the Celtic manager job. I'm just saying he's far too overqualified for the job that he's got. I wouldn't mind him part of the coaching team. We need it because again, I say this or no, we need some fresh breath in there. How many managers do we get through and it's always the same coaching team? There's no new fresh ideas coming in with Damien Duff for a while, with Harry Kewell for a while, and things like. Do you mind every few months, a year or whatever the guys were there? Celtic were playing a lot better attacking football. And then they've left. Have they been replaced? No, it's still Brendan Rodgers. It's still John Kennedy. And do you know what I mean? It's still wee Gavin Stratton with a tablet and stuff like that. And we need something like that. Maloney, for his credentials and his CV, shouldn't be working as a pathways manager for our young players. He should have been in there as a first team coach. I don't understand that at all. See, in terms of you've had that corporate failure, Jerry, in terms of maximising your return for even for the PLC, which you're accountable with your shareholders. He's failed. Nicholson, he's the man. As I said, he either is signing everything off, or he should have the balls to say that somebody is compromising his authority, one way or another. So for that point of view, if you don't change what you've got here, you're going to keep getting. You need radical change here. But we don't have the answers, as I've said, but we've got questions, and DD's part of that, You're saying, does he have a level of control that's disproportionate to his own and his?
But that's what David Lowe was getting at, John, as well, with this kind of the legal side of stuff that you could even challenge.
Absolutely.
It could be like a route, as I said, it would be years for anything like that to come about. But we've spoke about that. I mean, you'll know more about it than me, but it's just stuff I read, and it's like corporate governance. Why you've got to, by law, look after the best interests of shareholders, all the shareholders. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. It's even some of the most basic things. And it's even listening to that David Lowe with PJ again. It's like he's going on about the non-executive directors and what they should be doing in that. And you're questioning like that. That's exactly what the non-executive directors should be doing, is saying what the fans are saying and saying what Brendan Rodgers is saying. So are they needing gut it? These are the guys that are meant to sit there in the boardroom and say, no, well, wait, you can't do that. David Lowe says there was guys in there that said to Fergus, well, hold the boat here, son, come on. You can't be doing that kind, and They argued out the toss, but that was their job. Their job's to make sure everything's running smoothly and everything's being looked after as good as it can be as a company for every single shareholder. But we just seem to be the betting collie Dermot Desmond and his wee cliquey shareholder, and that's how he keeps the power. And we don't, as I said, he get a dispensation for the takeover panel, so he didn't need to bid for all the shares. He just sat there in that wee comfort zone. And that,
Anyway,
again,
sorry, Jerry.
Jerry.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something there. So
No,
did
I
George.
just took myself off mute, mate. Sorry.
Oh, what you saying to it?
No, I'm looking at it a different way. I mean, you were going on about Rodgers think he's got Dermot's here. I mean, I'm looking at it total opposite. See if in my opinion, see if Dermot's here and he was as close to him as he would have, this window would have been a success. He would have bypassed. Dermot Desmond would have bypassed the two clowns or said to them, get him the players he's wanting now. I'm not want to hear any of this. Rather than messing about, and now the transfer window's shut. Rodgers is playing a blinder. Rodgers, for me, he came out. He's come out fighting, and he's hopefully put that siege mentality into players. It's the only way he can try and make a good go of this with the cards he's been dealt. So, but for me, if he was that good a relationship with Dermot Desmond, he would have had the players in that he wanted.
Jerry, 100%. I said that's a bit of the jigsaw I can't put in place yet, because I've thought the same thing. I thought I don't think Nicholson's either get the. I don't think he's the type of man taking a.
He's a mummy's boy. He's not going to stand up to him. He wears an apron.
He Michael Nicholson. See, when he used to go tack and somebody could come to play a game of football, he'd be the one to get picked last, mine. So he'd say, "Who am I playing?" He says, "You're playing with them." But you're right. That's a bit I can't get yet. If Rodgers and Dermot are that tight, the only person that can jeopardise some of the deals we were trying to go, it's either because of their failure to conclude a deal, kind of just from a management perspective, or the rumours that there's a financial cap imposed by Desmond, whatever it is. But you're right, that's a bit I've no got right either. If he had his ear as much as he's suggesting he's got his ear, why did he not bite it?
You would have, because if they were messing about, you'd have looked at him. If that's me and you've got a couple of people like working for your fucking up or whatever, you just say, right here, out the way, I'm going to deal with this myself. I'll get the deals done. Go out the road. But he's not done that. So for me, he's definitely part of the problem. And Rodgers can't be as tight with him as he's either wanting us to believe or whatever. But he's always been brilliant with the media and the way he comes across and speaks. He knows what he's trying to say.
I thought there was two things, and I've not heard anybody talking about this, Jerry, but two things he said when he said I've got a great relationship with. What he said was, he said that Michael's a good guy, Chris is a good guy. Somebody else mentioned. So, see when somebody tells you you're a good, what he's effectively saying, but you're fucking hopeless in your job.
Aye, 100%.
It's
Evening, Chris Fraser. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in, mate.
That's right up there that she's fat, but she's got a nice face. Do you know what I mean? It's
She's got her own teeth.
She's got her own teeth, or she's a lovely person. That's another one you get. But she's a lovely person.
She's a good cook.
So when he says,
talking here right now, just the way we're talking about, very flung that in here, but a good cook.
Aye, don't start your shit.
John, spot it. 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, eating chips. Sitting eating chips at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Who do you think that was?
I was starving. I went and got a roll. I took the boys to chapel. They asked for a milkshake, so I go to my milkshake. I kind of appease the man to try and keep the peace, and I was starving, so I got a roll and chips.
A roll,
and
a kebab.
No, just a roll and chips, and then I was just pumping around, and Jabber was standing looking at me, thinking, what you doing? And he's meant to be Mr. Fit, but he was going to get
He
two
was in
rolling
for
chips.
chips, I know.
Aye, 2 rolling chips, but I was hungry. I never had my dinner the night before.
See, before we discuss food, Rodgers said he doesn't use words kind of glibly. He said, Michael's a nice guy. You follow that, but you're fucking hopeless, eh?
Aye.
The other thing he says, I've got a good personal relationship with Desmond. That left the question over me, but is there a business relationship somewhere in terms of where he does have a cap and spend or whatever it is that needs to be addressed, eh? That was the two things he said that kind of jumped out at me.
I mean, I've said it 100 times after working in the pub league and that. Rodgers he can run the press ragged up here. He knows what to say.
I wouldn't trust Brendan Rodgers as far as throw Jerry, and that's not very fucking far, eh? And it's
But I see what you're saying in that. I know about because that's what I said as well. Well, if he's so tight with Dermot Desmond, why was Dermot Desmond backing him in the transfer window when all the problems were going on? But just getting back to the press conference and that, John, it's as if that kind of wee smug, and I kind of know there's stuff going on behind the scenes that I can't really say, you know.
Yeah, the wee smug wink and that end.
Everything was just, I mean, and everything's a measured response. But then, we all can read, he said that, but he didn't say that. But then
is he trying to place doubt in, is he then trying to put the doubt in Law and Nicholson's head that he's had conversations with Dermot Desmond? That's the way I'm looking at it. See, like,
if you want to talk to the press, I can talk to the press as well.
Exactly. So, no, there's... he's got to create that siege mentality and get all the players on side. And I do think after the weekend, I do think they're on side. And
absolutely, Jerry.
I think that's what's hopefully going to see us through. Sees it as the cups and the leagues, the cups and the Europa. I'm not caring. As long as we win that league this season, that's all I'm interested in.
I would like us to win the League Cup. See, because it's early, because do you know what I mean? It's like the first trophy up. I'd rather win the League Cup, but I'm saying this to now because it's coming up kind of thing. I'd rather win the League Cup than the Scottish Cup. Do you know what I mean? The League Cup and the League.
I'm with Jerry. I don't give a fuck about the League Cup, the Scottish Cup, or the Europa League. As long as we win the league.
Nah, for a failure of the Champions, getting into the Champions League, and as I say, we can argue about if the players in. That team was shite. I don't care. Nobody's changing my opinion. That for me was on Rodgers and the players no beating them. And for me, they deserve to give us a treble.
Mark, I'm going to ask you a question then. Did the Celtic board make Celtic the best version that we could have been in ourselves turning up there?
No.
End of story. End of fucking story.
So see, every time we drop points in the league, is that what we're going to go on about? I see if the board had bought players, we wouldn't have dropped points. Do you get what I mean?
Can you imagine if we go to players that team, early, Mark, the conversation we'd be having now?
But that team was shite. You can't get rid of that fact. 100%. That's what I'm talking about.
And I hold Rodgers fully responsible for that.
The Celtic squad, the money, the value we've got in that squad, the money we're paying in wages, the size of Celtic, the management we've got. That guy you've got running them was a youth coach a year ago. Only get promoted up to their team.
What took you so long to get the two wingers in? We did the two wingers in, even Tuneki, we win that game. And we wait to the last fluent kick of the ball and the transfer window shut because we're ready to riot.
Jerry, I think we depose this fucking editor here.
No, you can't just put.
So who do you think?
Brendan Rodgers himself said that we should have been beating them. So you're calling him a liar.
we had no that we were way too slow. Rodgers, if you listen to interviews, kind of blaming the transfer window for the way we were playing. He was saying it was affecting people's mindset. But in the same token, that board let Yang, Maida, whoever think that they were going to be getting moves. They tried to wait and delay and delay. Their heads are in the clouds. We get Tuneki in. It's going to give us that bit of spark and that bit of creativity. We're going to do something. We'd have created at least one or two chances. And we never done that out of the two games. We were awful slow. He's saying that he wanted them to back being fast passing, more direct, more aggression. We kind of showed that yesterday in a horrible pitch.
But he flung your players under the bus with that as well.
What's that, sorry, mate?
Rodgers flung the players under the bus with that talk, I know. As if I don't tell the players to play it back the way you know that kind of part. He wants it to be always going forward in that. And everybody's watched Celtic for the last 6 months at least, and under Rodgers his last time. There's no, just for the players that even were hid in that squad, there is no way in the world Celtic should get beat with him. We should have had that tie done and dusted at Celtic Park. That's for me, that's one of the worst performances, results in Celtic's history. Getting out in Europe to them.
Yep, I totally agree.
New players, blah blah blah. Aye, but the players we've got, the players that were in that squad, the wages they're getting, the manager we've got, the lot, it was just so embarrassing that for me, once the whistle goes, that Celtic squad should have been wiped the floor with him. Doesn't matter who's in it, who's out it. Celtic squad should have been far, far too superior for them, especially at Celtic Park.
See, before I shoot, I'm just going to ask John one wee thing. John, Ralston or the boy Donovan for backup? I know you're a Ralston fan.
I don't know where he's went. He's not muted.
He's done the off. He can't answer it. Who would you go for, Mark?
Well, see, I said on the forum earlier, and I thought Donovan done well. As I said earlier, with Big Ballock Wisher, it was as if he didn't know. Maybe it's just a relationship. Maybe just because he's a young lad. It was as if he didn't know how to support the right winger. Do you get what I mean? What he did, but defensively and all the rest of it, I thought he did a cracking game for a young lad. And John said, I know he's a big bit of a boy, so maybe
I like the look of him.
Maybe it's time then for Ralston to, as I said in the forum, maybe it's time that Ralston, we can let the big man run free, run out in the wild and be his own man now. Do you know what I mean? If Donovan's going to be keen, I'd be back up.
Aye.
I mean, we're going to see enough of the lad to know in the next few months. Do you know what I mean? With age here.
Yep.
So, aye, but for what I've seen him, he's done well for it. He's done well.
He's not done himself any harm, especially playing a pitch like that.
Aye.
So, that's a two. You've had Donovan and Murray too. Looked decent, eh?
Aye. But they're going to make mistakes. That's the thing as Celtic fans and myself, everybody will need to remember they're only kids, they're going to make their mistakes. So we'll just need to try and stick by them and see what happens and hope for the best. Because I say Vickers is not looking too shabby the new. So if there was any forward thinking at Celtic, I don't think there is. We'll be looking at a place off for these players. But we'll wait and see.
The Kelly goal was an absolute fucking brilliant header. Two things that jump out. You've got nobody commanding enough to attack the ball, but and I think he's too close. I think he's too close for you to blame Schmeichel, but a few wee question marks starting to appear on Schmeichel too now.
There is. And that, but with the only saving, well, it's no saving grace, is that for a fan's view, we've got deputy.
Absolutely, Jerry. Absolutely.
So, but I think Rodgers has promised that boy will try and get him to World Cup. But there's only what's 8 weeks time the World Cup thing is over. So you'll be wanting Scotland to fly and put a couple past Denmark the next game to fire him out the World Cup, and it doesn't need to worry about going to World Cup in the summer.
Anyway, have we never had Jonas? But that's a long time since Jonas has been on the podcast.
Right, boys, I'll need to shoot. All right, I'll talk to you soon. God
Right.
bless you, all the best.
Right on,
Take
Jay.
care.
Cheers.
Right, thanks
Cheers.
very much, Jerry. Good
Cheers,
night,
guys.
mate. Speak to you
Bye-bye,
soon.
bye.
Right. I keep saying, John, we'll get Jonas on one night and just like if I talk about like Scottish football in general, do you know what I mean?
I thought he's brilliant. See, I was telling him I was up at Leith on Saturday night.
Aye.
Saturday we were up there on Saturday all day, and the Hibs were playing, and with that wee crack, we're saying, you, what pubs would you be comfortable going into? It was great crack, eh? He's very knowledgeable when he speaks too,
Aye. He's like Mikey, see, like he's like weird nerdy about players do you know what I mean? He's got knowledge about players of the world kind of thing that way. Aye. But we'll get one of them sorted out. Jonas is a good guy, man.
Good crack. So I spent Saturday with the Highbees, eh?
Aye, John jumped the wall a bit up in James Conley territory.
That was a great day. As I said to you, that was our happy anniversary. So we got the train up to Haymarket, and we get a tram right up to Newhaven, and we come back and we jumped into we had a few went for a meal, a few wee pub stops, and we ended in with the Highbees because they were playing at it was a 46 they were playing. Did United and Saturday night.
Aye, it was a late kick-off, wasn't it?
So that'll be that photo I sent you. That wee guy in the pub with the t-shirt.
First to wear the hoops.
The first to wear the green and white, eh? And one of the older boys was still get used to all our players. I think it's 150 years ago. You really let that go. It's great crack, by the way. Absolutely great crack. It's that's why I was asking Jonas that, because I was thinking I'm not sure if I'd have been in Gorgie, if I'd have been as comfortable going into I wouldn't have thought to get into a Jambo's pub, eh? But with a great crack, a great crack. I just think that's a fantastic. I love the Hibs tap. All the Waynes, even there's a wee lassie sitting beside us with a wee Hibs tap on. I think it's just and they played in the hoops and
aye, that one they done the other day was a belter, John.
Cracker. Absolute cracker.
I mean, just because it's like Hibs, know what I mean? At the bands and that, you meet all the boys from Edinburgh and stuff like that. There's a lot of good guys in Hibs support, know what I mean?
Brilliant stuff. We had a great crack, Mark. A
lot of good Republicans in that.
We had a great crack from him, as I said. It's there's definitely some kind of connection that you're. What I said to me about he said you're a Ouija. I think we gave it away. It's
that's what you. But Jonas and Mikey call us Ouijas.
Ouijas.
Aye, we're Ouijas. They're chukters. I just call them chukters, even though it's Dundee. Anybody that doesn't talk like us. There was
just some kind of wee, and I said that to you as well, and I never liked going to Easter Road back in the day because the casuals, and I never thought there was a lot of love lost in kind of 70s and 80s. But there was a right good crack between us and Saturday. That was, even we went for a meal, we went for an Indian, and there was a few Highbees in there too, and just a good crack, probably just an appreciation as a Celtic fan. You'd be quite comfortable getting in there, eh?
There's nothing, honestly, John. See, I'd miss any kind of Hibs pub or that through in Edinburgh. We're in a Celtic top, nobody's going to give you a second glance, honestly.
That's right, I know. It's it was a good crack.
Well, that's right. Hibs are playing them on Saturday. What about them, John? Well, just before we finish up, we'll laugh at them.
My laddie, I'm back in Leith tomorrow morning too. My laddie says he's been better up in Leith next Saturday because they're playing the Huns, eh? It's just a good crack all round, eh? So what are you saying? What I take on them?
No, I just said before we finish up with a wee laugh at the Huns getting beaten. No, right. Did you see the stuff? I don't know. I'll send you a link. Have you seen
WATP?
We are the 12th. we are the 10th.
We are 10th placed.
But have you seen what Martin's done today? He said I'm out up Loch Lomond swimming in the water and stuff. I'll send you links once we finish up the pod. I'll fire the links out to you. He said this.
You think you You couldn't write that on Saturday. They think the McInnes engineers a victory for Hearts. Fucking Shankland, or Shankhill as we used to call him.
Aye.
Shankhill scores the 2 goals. They could have had him for a fucking free. You could.
I wonder. Does anybody in the chat know? Did they actually try and sign Shankland?
Don't know.
Because I mean, that's crazy if they didn't. If you get him into it, because it was kind of out there that he wanted to join them and stuff like that.
What I said to you with the
they should have bought him rather than Majowski. People on the forum and that, oh, what about Majowski? And I've said I don't think Majowski's all that. He'd one good season at Aberdeen. I'd have rather, I'm not meaning Shankland just as him as a person, but honestly, I'd have rather went for Shankland than Majowski. Shankland, you know, is going for years. He's scoring in Scotland. It's big. Majowski was a bit of a one-season wonder at Aberdeen, I think.
You think you've got McInnes? He. That's the manager they should have appointed.
Aye.
That's the man they should have appointed. You've got Shankland scoring 2 goals, and that's it. That's the striker they should have signed. And then we've got our one-away striker. Fucking scoring a fucking cracking heater at the start, and we've got our post-windy striker scoring a penalty. You know, as I said to you the other day, if Carlos were mid weekends,
aye,
it's. But I mean, I'm not. They're irrelevant. It's just.
Aye, and again, John, going back to the stuff of the Celtic fans and that, right? As I said there, I just said at the end we'll have a wee laugh about them. That's what we need to know. But we need to. I've said this for years, John, that the club at Celtic need, and a lot of the support need to do as well. Stop being so parochial. We should, with the financial muscle and clout we've had, John, they should be in our wake. Even at them at their best, shouldn't be touching us.
I'll leave you two good lines I heard recently. I thought the Celtic statement was absolutely Celtic Football Club's statement was horrendous, and I'm not quite sure how they bounced back for that. But one of the real low for other digs at us and insulting our intelligence, the reference to another club in Scotland going bust, which is probably the fucking low point,
Nah, it's a bit like fucking. It's like, and John, it was like one of the statements we used to get off the Huns that you would expect to like see no surrender put under it, kind of like the wee kind of digging that about it, but that's what they bring up at the EGM all the time.
Joe McHugh refers to. I thought it was a great line. I worked with Joe at one time, and I thought it was a great line. He referred to him as the Celtic board's old firm business partners. And I thought that was a fucking great line,
I've said this before, John. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast. I've said it to you and Jerry and people like that in private, but imagine the book was another fit.
Aye, fucking. I tell you, my mum used to say they wouldn't give fucking fresh air, John, if they could keep it half,
Exactly.
And, see if the shoe was another fit, they'd have put the fit in your neck. They'd never have took it off it. It's I thought that was a cracker for Joe McHugh. The Celtic board, old firm business partners. A fucking cracker, Anyway, I need to go. I'm going to leave tomorrow again at 6:30 tomorrow morning, so I need to bowl here. But good crack,
That's you, man. You're hanging about Edinburgh all the time. You went up the world. Us Ouija's aren't good enough to hang about with now.
I tell you, that was it. That was just a great crack. It was just absolutely great crack. You know, as I said, I've got kind of negative experiences of Hibs years ago, but Easter Road, the casuals and stuff like that. But nah, I think we were warmly welcomed. Guinness drank every pub you're in. A plethora of red hair. So
see, that's a bit dodgy, man. It's obviously.
It's no. I seen that photo with the Shamrocks above the bar with Phil.
Aye.
Just a genuine good crack, eh?
That's what it is, John. It's just like Celtic pubs in Glasgow and that. It's just the Hibs Edinburgh version of the kind of pubs. Irish stuff. Do you know what I mean?
As soon as you hear my accent, you know I'm not from fucking Leith, eh? It's and I know you're not there if you're a hun. So it was just a great crack. It was
You
just
whacked on a pair of specs and kid it when you were one of the proclaimers.
I said that to me boy. I says, go and give us a photo of your t-shirt. So they know right away. So the first they wear the green and white. I says, fucking fantastic. I says, I'm going to give you this. I said, you've got the second best tap in Scotland. And I tell you have got. You've got the best fucking song. You've got the best football anthem. I lost a good friend in November, and we were in Partick, and I don't know if maybe some of the guys are off, and there's a good Celtic pub in Partick called the Dolphin. It's got a photo above the bar. You'll know the famous photo of God creating Adam. So it's got God creating Larson, and we came out the pub that day, and that was the day that the Hibs beat the Huns in the cup final. And the Hibs fans were all singing Sunshine and Leith, and we get roped in with them. And it's just a brilliant football. If you never got to go and watch that again, watch Sunshine on Leith.
I'm trying to look for it, John, and see how we put it on.
Hibs singing it at Hampden that day. In fact, your man's a manager.
Mowbray?
No. Stubbs, so it was. See if you've got a chance to zoom in on that. That's one of the best renditions you'll ever hear of that song. If that doesn't, it's just a tremendous football anthem.
It's one of the kind of things, John, that you kind of like you wish you'd been there. Do you know what I mean? It's one of the times you're a bit jealous of another team. Do you know what I mean? It's like people that see. It's like when you see people coming to Celtic Park, right? And it's like they walk on before Champions League games and like derbies and stuff like that, right? It's spine tingling, it's special. But if you're there all the time and hearing it, you get a bit kind of used to it, and you need to take part in it to make sure that it's so special. But guys that are there for the first time are like, what the hell's going on here? And that Sunshine on Leith after that cup final, for me, that was that kind of experience. Watching as an outsider, wishing you were there and part of that.
That good friend I lost, we were talking about that day, and he'd been diagnosed with cancer at that time. And there's a line in it that says, "While I'm worth my place on this earth, where the Chiefs say send sunshine and Leith." You just think you can't. There's no better lines than that, And that's just a great memory for me. And as I said, when I said to the wee boy, you've got the second best tap in the country, but you've got the best fucking song. I said, no, it's for Celtic, man. And he says, we'll take that. He says, there's about 6 of us. He says, we'll take that, It's a great day, Mark. It's a great day.
I don't know how to flick that on, John. I don't know how to bring that up.
Oh, it's tremendous. You need to see if you can dig it out sometime. The Hibs.
No, I've got it. I just don't know how to actually put it up on the stream kind of thing. There's the link for it in there. Put in the chat.
Oh, it's superb.
But it was, John, it's one of the things where you kind of wish you were there. It was like even when you were younger, you used to see like even mind when Liverpool, like when you were young in the telly and you saw English games, it was like Liverpool singing "Walk On" and that. It was like I was a bit, do you know what I mean? There's certain stuff you see on the telly and that you think that's different quality. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've sent you the video. I've sent it to everybody. See, I don't know if is it an American football college team or something, and they came out to that song "Jump Around."
Aye.
I'd love Celtic to start doing that. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But aye, that's Sunshine and Leaf. That's different. That's different quality. That
apparently, I think
even the English editors and that were messaging me about that day, talking about that.
Apparently, the Proclaimers. I made you read the story. They arrived in New York.
They're not actually brothers or nothing. It's just all an act.
They were in New York after when 9/11 happened, and they sang that in a pub, apparently, and get quite a fair bit of acclaim. It's just a brilliant song. Well, I'm worth my. Always think about Jim when I hear that. Well, I'm worth my place on this earth. Where the Chiefs send sunshine on Leaf. Fucking brilliant. Just a brilliant song. Celtic's got nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. That's just. And go MD that's not seen it before. Just click on your link and you watch the Hibs fans singing that to the Huns that day. It's if it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, there's something wrong with you. Great song. Right, I'm off, Ski.
Right, no bother, John. Thanks very much again for
thanks very much, guys. Great crack. Yeah.
You bit of therapy tonight.
No, I was bit. Listen.
You've been calm. You've been calm. By your standards, you've been calm.
No, that's what it is. It's just year for year, that's what it is. But it's I'm just happy to see Celtic doing their 3 points up the road, top of the league.
I said to the missus last night about it. I done that. See the thing about it, all the negativity stuff and moaning. That's a game out the way. We're a week further down. We're a week further down the line. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Celtic, as you said earlier, the Europa League. I want to see. Honestly, I'd have Donovan. Playing in the Europa League. The Scarachi boy at left back. Big Dane Murray at centre back. I'd be playing the kids and bleeding names through days in that.
I've said to you loads of times about. I think I said in the last pod, I'm not letting the Celtic board take this off me. It's about me meeting the lad and going for a pint and meeting the folk that I've met for years and years and having a crack. And when I heard your man speaking today and said the same thing, I thought, you're right, it's so much more than the 90 minutes of that. But and I ain't, so I'm not getting my season ticket away. So I'm not going to criticise somebody that doesn't want to get in for 12 minutes or they
somebody, as we said, with the Europa League, John.
We need to remember that we've got different ways of expressing it, but we all love Celtic and we've got Celtic's best interests at heart. Got a bit of respect. We just need to respect each other and just remember we'll not always see it the same way.
But things will change, John. Plans will become more clear and the best way to go forward. As I said earlier, considering for last Saturday morning with the hack job in the Sun, the statement on Saturday night, the same day, in fact, to Rodgers' press conference on Friday, the Celtic fans have came together in a way that's not been seen for, like, before Fergus came in. Let's be honest about it. It's amazing the actual people that are being involved in this and stuff like that. And just maybe it's not the best idea, this 12-minute thing, but at least it was something right away. We had to something had to be done yesterday.
Absolutely, right, absolutely.
It doesn't mean that that's going to happen regularly. Hopefully things will get sorted out otherwise, but something had to be done yesterday, and I think that was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to some people, but something had to be done just to show, instead of just like all this palaver of the internet and all these meetings and graces and Zoom stuff and all that, John. And then if just yesterday just became like a game day. Do you get what I mean? Something had to be done before the game, and it probably had to be before the game for timing as well. But again, it's no ideal, and hopefully going forward we can come up with better plans. Are kind of
I just think
progress with the least effect on the team in the park, and letting Brendan Rodgers and the players know that we're still 100% behind them.
Absolutely, you just don't want to do it, and it just divides us. You just need to stay united and but respect. If somebody doesn't agree with how you would do it, that's fair dues too. And it's aye, but I tell you, it's a marker down, eh? And it's,
Aye, we're
Brian,
at the tipping point, John. We've spoken about that.
I'll leave you with this. So Brian Dempsey had a great line. He said, "You know what? See if nothing else, the Celtic support know that the club's theirs. The Celtic is ours. It's your club, and it's my club. It's not their club. It's I thought it was a great line from Brian Dempsey.
We're just custodians. It's no my fault. It's no my fault.
My fault. Just fuck off. Don't ask us hard questions.
Give your money.
Absolutely.
Big Boys done it and ran away.
Big boy done it away. But Brian Dempsey's hit a nail on the head there. He said the Celtic support know that it's their club. So we need to remember that. And listen, we're top of the league. We're top of the league. And Brendan, I think, played a blinder on Friday. I think he played a blinder on Sunday too. And just let's get behind him for the rest of the season. I don't give a fuck about him. Happens with any of the cups. I'm not, as I said, I'm not remotely interested in the Europa League, but I play the fucking B team. But just let's win the league, eh? Let's win the league and see the next time we'll have to qualify for the Champions League. Let's have learned and be a bit more prepared the next time, make a way.
I mean, because even with the way coefficients is and that, we're going to have more qualifiers to get through. And hopefully we're going to be seeded in them. But again, then as you say, John, it's the planning. But we're maybe not going to get there all the time. Do you know what I mean? There's always right, but we should be one of the clubs that's getting there 4 out of 5 times. No, getting there 4 out of 5 times.
The gap you're into, Bridge, Mark, is that self what you've watched this year is that self-fulfilling prophecy that said we're keeping this money in the bank in case we don't qualify. And I think nah, the converse is true. You've not qualified because you kept that money in the bank, eh? So that's the bridge that.
But plus as well, John, we've not qualified, but we're going to post record money in a week or so when the new accounts come out. So even that is money but it doesn't even matter because we can't spend it. It's not as if we can say, "Oh, we've got that money in the bank for wages," because of the PSR regs. Because we can only spend revenue money on wages. So it's not as if that rainy day money doesn't affect what we can spend on players anymore. So that's bullshit.
Yep. Well, I was shut down minutes after.
Aye. I saw that. I can't mind the guy's name, but fair play to him. I saw Alec Morris or something. No, is it him? But aye. But John, even me, just me reading that right away, I'm like, that's not how that works. Do you know what I mean? From my knowledge, yet.
The whole thing was a
sham.
And that statement was an insult. That statement tells you if there's anybody that's backing the board that thinks we're being hard, just go and read that fucking statement again, eh? And that tells you everything you need to know about where they are in terms of competence, failing to answer any questions that was asked them, and just their genuine contempt for you. Anyway, I'm Offski.
Thanks very much, John, for
coming on. Thanks very much for coming in. It was brilliant. Good crack just to talk about the club we love. It's good crack. Loved it. Go and listen to Wee Sunshine on Leith, even though that's a wee high bees bit in there at the end there. It's just a great song. Kind of personal. Obviously, for that reason, you're losing Jimbo and meeting the Hibs fans that day in Partick when they beat the Huns in the cup final. We were singing that with him, and Jim was a bit emotional just before he died. There, me and him were talking about it, and him saying that about well I'm worth my place in this earth. Where the Chiefs send sunshine and leaf. Just absolutely fucking fantastic. And I say to the boys in Leith, you've got the second best jersey, but you've got the best song. Just a fucking brilliant song, Mark.
Aye, it was, aye. Especially, and it's not even that. It was just that was the game that was all the attack the players and all that shit, wasn't it? That was that game.
Aye, same game.
Aye, it's just when you but I can mind what. No, but it was. I don't even think I watched the game, John. I think I flicked over and I found it to get beat and caught all the fighting and then caught the sunshine on Leith. But I've watched that a few times, just put them up. It's on my playlist on YouTube, and it's one of the few times that you wish you were in a crowd with another set of football fans.
Absolutely. Somebody mentioned actually Pat Stanton earlier on. When I see, I think they said the Pat Stanton club is good to get into. That's who I think of when I see that jersey. It's Pat Stanton playing in that jersey, And the Waynes that were in the pub there, and wee boys, wee lasses, they've had that wee Hibs tap on, just pure. They've got a big harp on the back of it too, just fucking superb. Anyway,
Jerry H. If you take now that Chris Fraser joins for America there, another boy for.
I know.
Aye. See, I did give a shout out. Thanks very much for joining us, Jerry H. Right.
Good to see you, Chris. Right, guys, good night, God bless.
Right, good night, John. Thanks very much for coming on. God bless. Right, everybody, hope you enjoyed that tonight. Thanks very much to John, Big Jerry for coming on. I hope you enjoyed the chat. Remember, leave a thumbs up. If you know how, can you leave a comment on it below as well? It helps us with algorithm and stuff like that. We'll be back we'll see what happens during the week, but the latest we'll be back probably next Monday night. Hail, lads, good night and God bless.